What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast. Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge
and Ava Baldridge.
Ava, how's it going?
Good.
Haven't talked to you in a long time.
Yeah, it's been forever.
I've been working real hard at work. That's what's been going on with me. How about you?
I am working on a artwork portfolio for high school.
Woo! Nice. Well, we've been working on our various projects. We have been doing a little bit of pinball. I've been trying to help folks fix their games like I usually do online. And one interesting game came across my desk recently.
I wonder what it is.
It's a Williams High Hand. Have you heard of this, Ava?
No.
It's a card bingo. It's one of the 4 card-themed bingos that were made.
There's only 4?
And there are only 4, and they were 2 of them made by Bally and 2 of them made by Williams. Weird, huh?
Yeah.
The playfield is different than the standard 25-hole playfield.
How many holes does it have?
25. And we totally didn't have to pause and edit that so I could recount. So I do have a card bingo playfield downstairs for the multi-bingo. Have you ever seen it hanging on the wall?
Is it the... I don't think so, actually.
It's the one for Twin Joker, which has an identical layout to High Hand. But Twin Joker was made by Bally and is much more common. So High Hand I've never seen in person before. Mm-hmm. And the person who just picked up one of these actually picked up
3
at the same time, yeah. So they're in different conditions. Had obviously been placed somewhere where they had direct sun exposure. So
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean...
so the pinball's got sunburned?
Yes, exactly. What that does is it fades the colors in the back glass, most noticeably.
Does it fade the playfield?
On the playfield or the plastics. Or one interesting thing about this game is that they used stainless steel pieces...
stainless steel?
In place of plastics. That was a fairly common thing for smaller... Let me show you a picture here. It's worth 1,000 words, they say. So, see these narrow pieces here, or these things down like where the slingshots would be. Well, they're stainless steel, yeah.
Wow,
are they stainless steel?
I've never.
Now you're making me doubt myself.
I've never seen a stainless steel what are they called? Guiders?
Maybe. Maybe they're nickel plated.
Well, I've never seen anything other than plastic thingies. I don't know what they're called. I don't remember.
Great. So yeah, these aren't ball guides. These are actually light shields. So they cover the lamps.
I've never
and
seen
they have rubber around
metal
them.
ones.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is that there are metal ones underneath each of these narrow strips on.
Then how does the light shine through?
That is an excellent question, right? It must be something where it has to throw across the playfield, but they didn't want it to shine through the plastics. And I don't know if that was an operator modification or what, but each of the 3 games that this guy has have that same modification. So, but they were all operated by the same person.
And they're all owned by the same person.
Right, so it's quite possible that just the operator did that. But if you notice on this listing on IPDB, the plastics are all cracked and warped and destroyed.
Yeah, that's
nice.
So
the guy who picked up those games, all of his plastics are smashed up like that.
Really?
Yeah. And
weird.
I can't explain that. This was made in the 50s when plastics were they were kind of figuring it out still. So the formulas that were used to make the playfield plastics are not the same as they are today, and they don't have the longevity that plastics do today.
I mean, I would expect that.
Right.
Since it was 70 years ago.
And then they kind of curl up and turn into little bacon pieces.
That's nice.
Like a Gottlieb flipper game. But I
just hear it sizzling.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime you turn the lights on. So I don't know if that's what happened or if there's some kind of issue with the post setup and how the light shields themselves are structured. But at any rate, I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So do you know about the gameplay for this game?
I'm guessing. So on the back glass, it looks like there are 4x6 cards in all, which means there are 24 cards plus a wild card, which means there are 25 cards. So that
one for each hole on the playfield.
So on the playfield, there are obviously the rows of holes, and under each hole is a picture of a card, and that card matches up with a card on the back glass, and I'm assuming that once you drop it in that card's hole, that it'll light up on the back glass, and you're trying to get a certain amount in a row.
So that's a safe assumption, and that's how a bingo would normally work. But what makes this different, and what makes a lot of these card-themed bingo-style pinballs different, is that you don't get any replays.
What?
Yeah, I know. So these were made for, I'm assuming, for territories where replays were illegal. And there was still a desire to play a bingo-type game.
But they didn't want to have replays.
And the replays were the thing that would make them illegal. So what they did is they made it so there were no replays.
So what do you do if you win?
See, there's the trick. Now, an enterprising person would probably go up to the bar and say, "Barkeep, check it out. I got 4 of a kind," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the bartender would then pay you either with drinks or cigarettes, or they would actually give you money. So,
interesting.
In effect, it's the same thing as having the replays, because
But
you would take the replays and sell them off, right? Well, it's the fear of gambling. But the thing is, if somebody wants to gamble on something, they're going to do it.
They can do it either way.
Yeah. So, at any rate, one of the cool things about this game is that it was way cheaper to buy for an operator than a traditional bingo, because inside there's almost nothing.
What?
I'll show you some images. Yeah.
There's almost nothing?
Let me show you the inside of the back box, and you tell me if this looks like a bingo to you.
What? In the most bingos have like 5 different things of rows of all sorts of steppers and Jones plugs and coils and everything.
Just packed.
This is literally like 4 things.
There's 2 relays, a transformer, a fuse block, and 2 Jones plugs.
That's like the minimal. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So all that is, the Jones plugs are carrying the data from the switches up to the lamps. And that's it. It doesn't have to do anything else.
Wow.
So I'm surprised. I was looking at this, and I didn't crack open the IPDB to see what the inside of it looked like. I programmed this for the multi-bingo, and I just knew that there was no replay indication on the back glass.
What about in the playfield? Is there any?
And there's no indication there. So the deal is the Joker can be used as a substitute for any other card.
Oh, so how do you pick the card? Do you just...
You don't. So this is a really simple game. Really, really simple.
So
all it is you drop the ball in the hole and it lights it up. That's it.
And then try to get 4 in a row, or...
Well, you try to get the best hand of cards, like if you're playing poker. Okay. So you want to get a royal flush or a straight, or you want to get a 3, 4 of a kind pairs, those kind of things. So it plays like poker, but without any of the
Can you also get in
action.
Like in a row?
No, because there's no. I mean, unless that was the rule at the bar or wherever you were playing.
Weird.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no mechanics in the game, so it doesn't know what you're doing.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So one of the images on IPDB...
I'm assuming the playfield is very simple inside.
Yes. There are no pictures of that, but yeah, see, it shows you what you get. The rank of hands. So this instruction card says the rank of hands, and then tells you how many points you get. But the points are not tallied in any way on the back glass or on the playfield. So you just have to. You would then walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, look, I got 5 of a kind."
Yeah.
You know, with the wild card, you can only get 4
It's
of a
interesting.
kind.
It has a lot of options for winning.
For what it is, yeah. But it's weird that there's no. To me, it's weird that there's no automatic tallying of winners. So Williams, the only other card-themed game that they made was called Yukon, and that one is of great interest to me. Have I ever shown you that one?
I don't think so.
Okay. Take a look at this. Alright, here's Yukon, and this is the back glass.
It looks very, very similar.
So as you can see, yeah, the card layout on the back glass is the same. The only difference is that you can, if you get the Joker, you can press a button to select which card.
So this one is a little more complex.
Yes, and if you notice, what's that?
It's a tally score!
A replay counter, yeah. So, looking at the playfield, though, you might say...
It looks exactly the same.
It's the same playfield.
What the heck?
And check this out, the plastics are fine. So
Why is this happening?
I don't know.
It's exactly, like, there's no difference.
But there is a huge difference, and that is...
The scorecard!
that it gives you replays.
And replays.
So looking at the inside of the game...
Whoa! Yeah, this one has... This is like the normal amount of stuff that I would expect to see.
for a game of this age, right? Like,
yeah.
It's not...
It has a lot of replays.
relays.
Relays.
Yeah. Since the last time I've been here, they've added a lot of new pictures. This is pretty great. But if you notice the light board, very similar, right?
It looks very similar.
The only difference is that replay counter and the extra lights for the cards that you select.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, it looks almost exactly the same. Yeah, the playfield is inside of it is just... This is what I expected from the high-end too. It's just like a single bunch of wires going up to each of the individual holes.
Yep.
To control the lights.
And then there's a shutter motor.
Yeah.
And that's
Why is it
basically
spray painted yellow on the underside?
So that is a thing that they would do when they were laying down the paint for the top, I think.
So
interesting. It was painted black, and then they would go through with a layer of yellow. If you notice,
where...
all the holes are yellow.
Yeah.
So
to know where to paint yellow and stuff.
I think they just did it real quick, like psh, they made a template and covered over everything on the playfield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my guess. Now, normally it's screened, but the thing is, with those holes, they're beveled.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Or maybe they painted it like that so that they would have a template for where the holes are supposed to go.
That could be. I'm really not sure. But without the holes there, I wouldn't think it would go to the underside.
Yeah.
At any rate.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's more stuff in here. And the thing that fascinates me about this is that you can win as if you're playing poker. So there's all these different combinations for winning, and thinking about how I would design that using steppers and relays and so forth.
That would be a lot of different ways.
It would be. So when I did this, there weren't high resolution or any resolution pictures of the inside of the game available, and there was no manual or schematic available that I used. Yeah, that's just the door flipped open there.
That is...
Oh, that's a coin door.
Yeah, that's a coin door. That is a lot for a coin door.
It's just mounted differently. So this is mounted like a bally. You got your coin lockout coil. Your coin mechanism goes there. See, like that one?
Yeah.
And then you got your coin switch and your coin.
The
lock
coin
counter.
Mechanism looks very complicated. Although I'm assuming it's
well, the thing
simpler.
is that it had to be able to allow a coin to pass through, but only the kind of coin that you wanted. It had to be able to cut a string if somebody drilled a hole in a quarter, for example, and then tied a string to it.
To try and
pull it back out after hitting the switch.
Huh.
People would do that. It had to be able to detect if it was an actual coin or if it was a slug. A slug is a fake coin that someone makes.
Oh.
Like if you took a washer that was the same size as a quarter and the same thickness and put it in a machine, if your machine didn't have an intelligent coin mechanism.
So it's actually a lot more complex.
Yeah, it's more complicated than you think. And it has to be able to open up if coin gets trapped and automatically dump it into the coin reject slot.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are quite a few pieces to it and components. The main component over here is like a lever that moves with the weight of the coin. But only the weight of that coin will make it move in the way that you want it to.
So it has to be the exact same weight, the exact same size, the exact
It's almost
same
like
diameter.
It has to be standardized
to
from the government, or wherever, from the mint, in order to make it work. So, at any rate, yes, that's a little more complicated also because there are two coin mechanisms in this as opposed to the single that you normally see in a bally
where's
bingo.
the second one?
It's been removed here for the photo.
Oh.
So there's one here, and then there would be one here.
But it's been removed. Okay.
Yeah. At any rate, when I did this for the multi-bingo, I designed it as if it were a bally because I didn't know what the mechanics were inside this.
Because they hadn't posted anything
Any
yet.
pictures, yeah. And there was no manual. And I think... I don't think I had a schematic either. I just had to go off of the instruction card.
Whoa.
Yeah. Which is challenging.
I would imagine.
So the way I built it, everything was handled through motors. But that's not how they have it handled. It's all handled through relays. Relays are actually a simpler way to handle it. Because if you had everything motorized, it would have to make a pass around before it could actually start counting. Anyway, all that is some stuff that's going on. So I'm trying to help a person with high hand, and high hand is a lot simpler
A lot simpler.
of a creature than most of these other ones. But I was impressed that there are 3 or 4 relays in it. And
There are?
yeah, there's one. You know how there's a ball gate up at the top of the shooter lane?
Mm-hmm.
So you shoot the ball and it goes through this little flap.
Yeah,
and
to
then
make
bounces
sure it
back.
doesn't go back in the...
Exactly. It's called a
lane.
one-way gate, right? Well, in bingos, there's actually a switch there that's mounted underneath a little metal piece.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that metal piece, or rather that switch, will tell the game that the ball has exited the shooter lane. And so it can queue up the next ball if there's an automatic lifter, that kind of thing. This game doesn't have an automatic lifter.
Is it manual?
It's manual. So it's got a push rod.
Those things are fun.
Yes, I agree. But what is very interesting to me is that this is obviously a really cut down game. Like, there's not a lot in it.
Oh, not a lot. Not
at all, right? There's some beautiful artwork,
but nothing inside, basically. It's
but basically nothing inside. Yeah,
hollow.
Like, I feel like
with artwork on top.
You could stack 5 or 10 of them under each arm and just walk.
Just
walk
carry
around with
them around town.
No big deal.
Go shopping.
But
Pick up presents for them.
In this case, there is a shutter motor. I have that Victory Derby that I converted to multi-races.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember when I first got it, it had this belly bar. It had this weird little push rod.
I think so.
And that actually acted as the shutter.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was coil and spring driven, and it would shoot the shutter back after you shoved in this thing. So the player was in control of it instead of the game. And, if I was really looking to
Isn't that
make
kind
it
of
inexpensive,
like,
I would do that.
kind of like, what was the other game that we had that did that?
That's the only one I've ever seen. That,
Really?
yeah, that has that. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little confusing because I took that one and converted it.
No, I feel like there was another one. But okay.
There were two that Bally made that did that.
That did
Victory
that?
Derby and Victory Special.
Both have victory.
Yes, they're the same game. One is replays and one is payout.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway.
So it's basically the same exact game, except for the money difference.
Yes, when Bally was making the horse race games, they would produce two different models. One would be payout, so it would pay you directly.
Yeah.
And then the other was
really-
replays that you would turn in for money.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the payout became, a bad thing.
Yeah.
So they ended up switching to replays only. And then they had to do all this like shuffling to make it so that they could continue to manufacture these replay games.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So there's a relay under here which will close the shutter, and it's
Okay.
activated by the gate.
Okay.
The shutter doesn't know where in the game you are because I don't think there's any trough switches.
From the looks of the Yukon, I don't think there would be.
Yeah. So if the game doesn't know which ball you're on, then it doesn't know necessarily how many balls are on the playfield, right?
How many balls do you get in this game?
5.
5, okay.
So if it doesn't know how many balls are waiting to be shot and the shutter opens,
You can shoot more than one at once?
you can shoot the balls while the shutter is in the process of opening and closing if there wasn't some mechanism to tell
That
it.
would be like the hardest thing to do, like one after the other.
It would, but it could happen. Like here's a for example. You shoot your first couple balls and you do really badly, so badly that you tilt the game
Okay.
out of anger. And so
Seems like something I would do.
the shutter in that case is closed and it's keeping 2 balls on the playfield, but you have 3 ready to shoot.
Okay.
So you drop in a coin, start a new game, and you have another ball in the shooter lane already, so you shoot it. The ball manages to land in a hole as the shutter is still open but about to close,
Uh-huh.
and it wedges it closed and then blows a fuse.
Wow.
So that's why the ball gate is involved.
Okay.
It's to prevent jams like that.
Okay.
At least that's my guess.
Okay.
But other than that, there's not really a need for other relays. There's a relay for tilt, and there's a relay for...
Oh yeah, I never even considered tilt
Yeah,
as it. So, when did they first start adding tilt?
in
Is
the
it-
30s.
Okay. So like
Very early.
very, very early. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it seems like something that you would add later, but.
Well, the thing is, even in the early games, you would pay for money. You would pay for money?
Yeah,
What
that
in the
makes
world?
no sense.
You would play for money.
There we go.
Yes.
Sensible words. Common
So if you're playing for money, actual cash dollars, right?
payout. Yeah.
Or pennies or nickels.
Or a quarter of penny.
Anyway, if you're playing for actual money, then you want to make sure that you're not paying out money incorrectly. So
Yeah.
initial games, not much protection against somebody who's trying to cheat, but very quickly, they realized, oh, people are gonna cheat.
Like crazy.
We
so.
need to figure something out. So it was pretty interesting to watch. If you look at different early games, you can kind of trace the cat and mouse game of, okay, somebody tried this thing, so we came up with a way to prevent them from doing it, and then
they came up
they
with
came
a
up with
different
some other thing. Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty neat, but
Man, you have to have a lot of protection. Just don't cheat people.
it's apparently too much to ask.
Yeah.
So
So sad.
anyway, that's High Hand, and I just thought it would be interesting to show you since you've got some bingo familiarity, and this is bingo adjacent. So here's my question to you: do you think this is a bingo?
I would consider it a bingo. However, because of the insides, it makes me question it. Because a lot of the times, bingos will have a huge amount, like, it will not be hollow at all. Like, it will be
There's no empty
stuffed,
space.
stuffed to it. Like when we were repairing Turf King, that's not really bingo. I know people. Don't get mad at me. Anyways, but when we were repairing that, there was a whole it was like on a platform that you would have to take out, and there was just like rows of steppers and everything else, relays.
Huge motorized unit.
It was a lot.
Yeah. And this has none of that.
Absolutely nothing.
The thing that makes me think it's a flipperless game and not a bingo per se is that there's no bingo card on the back glass.
Which means?
Well, like, when you play actual bingo, not bingo pinball, but actual bingo.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a card with numbers on it.
Why wouldn't they just put a bingo? Like, why wouldn't they just, like, attach the sides and then draw lines?
Make a secondary game? I don't know.
Although, I guess they couldn't really... I mean, they could draw a box on it, but they couldn't really draw lines, like, doing it to the thing, because they would
There's
have...
too many different
No, because
ways to
you couldn't, like, just draw, like, up, then side, then down, then diagonal, because that would be, like, too complicated. So, I guess that's why they didn't do it, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's... that was the thing that surprised me with Yukon I mentioned earlier, is there's so many different ways to win that if you were to map it out like this, it'd be utterly impossible, which is what you were just saying. So, let's talk about the P3.
P3.
It's been a little while, and I am still working on P3 games.
Ranger in the Ruins.
Ranger in the Ruins had a patch. Guess what it fixed?
Everything out.
What?
I'm kidding. You did great, Dad.
I made a dumb mistake, though.
What? For one of the items?
No. Items are perfect.
Wait, let me guess.
In every way.
Even the boots?
Yes. The boots are fantastic.
And the lighter?
Yes.
Wonderful. Wait, so it wasn't the items. Was it a physical thing or electric?
It was a data thing. So, in offline mode, if you don't have your P3 connected to the internet,
it wouldn't store information.
I made a mistake, and in certain circumstances, items would never appear. The ghosts would never show up.
Weird.
So
you'll just be running and running and running.
That's pretty rough. So
unless
anyway,
you die, unless you drop the ball, there's basically no way to die.
Yep. Well,
interesting.
I pushed out a patch that corrected that error, and also a couple of issues with text rendering over top of the graphics and over top of other text. So everything looks a little bit nicer. So that's Ranger in the Ruins.
Yeah.
But the main thing I've been working on
is, guess what? It's back, people. Quest for Glory.
That's right. So I learned an awful lot about making a production game with Ranger in the Ruins.
Yes.
And I wanted to apply those ideas to Quest for Glory.
Also, he broke it.
And I broke it.
But it's fine. He's fixing it.
So
it's playable right now. Like, kind of playable.
It's mostly playable right now.
Except he has like 7 scenes left, I think. About. Yes.
So I'm going through scene by scene, and what I'm doing as part of a production readiness type thing is to be a lot more explicit to the player about what they need to do. So I dropped you in the game, and previously, if you were familiar with the original game...
And if someone told you how to play it, then...
Well, even if they didn't tell you how to play it, you could probably figure it out.
Like...
Probably.
Hopefully. And if you're familiar with pinball.
If you're familiar with pinball, too. Yeah, that's the thing. So... But if you're talking about a game that somebody could step up to at a bar...
But hasn't played pinball before,
or hasn't played Quest for Glory,
right. Or hasn't or has played pinball but briefly or something, then they need some instruction guide.
Yes.
So this is what he has been doing.
So I've been putting in very verbose instructions that say, all right, you're in walk mode.
If you want to talk, then press this
Then
button.
move over here, yeah. So now I've retained that icon infrastructure that I had before that showed you which mode you were in, but now it very explicitly tells you, okay, now you're in look mode, or now you're in talk mode, or whatever.
Or in walking mode.
Yes.
You should make like a victory dance. That'd be hilarious.
I've made a variety of other changes too. For example,
He fixed
now
it.
I'm working. It's not fixed yet. I also changed
The artwork?
the different shots that you make. So previously, if you went into, say, look mode in a given scene, it would flash all of the shots that were available to look at in that scene.
So it's like in walk mode, it automatically does this in walk mode. Like he already had programmed it last time. So this time he made it so all the modes go like that. And so what it does is that instead of all the shots being thrown at your face, like go here, go here, go here, he made it so there's only one shot on the screen when you look at it, but you can move one of the flipper buttons to make the shots go around the screen to see what different things you can do.
And in every mode, it goes from left to right. So theoretically, players won't be confused by
Hopefully.
by what's going on. And it pops up text, and it'll say, all right, hit the indicated target to ask about waffles or whatever. If you have that target selected, but you don't hit it, I've also added a separate score that tallies. And behind the scenes, it's calculating every missed shot that you make.
Wow, and that makes me feel better.
Anyway, they feed into a separate high score table, and
wow, it's so nice.
You can get on the high score table without having to finish the game, though. Well,
I'll be getting lots of those.
The other thing that I've done is I've added an achievement system. So are you familiar with achievements on like PlayStation or Xbox or something?
Normally it's like a little trophy that pops up.
That's a PlayStation thing.
Oh, yes. On the PlayStation, there's a little... When you get an achievement, there's a tiny little virtual trophy that it gives you.
Yep.
And it says what you've accomplished. Like, you won the crown. You got markers. I don't know. But, yeah.
Exactly. So I've added in achievements, an achievement system, so it will keep track of your accomplishments throughout the game, and every time you earn puzzle points, those will automatically give you an achievement.
So you've added puzzle points too.
The puzzle points were the original score.
Oh, okay.
So there was a maximum score, 500, that you could accomplish, and each time that you get puzzle points, it'll increment that score by a certain amount.
Okay.
It depends on what you do. And how you do it.
Do you get points for like talking or...
In some instances.
Or hitting? I mean, not hitting.
Fighting?
No, like... I know you get points for fighting, but...
Not in all cases.
In most cases.
Depends on your character class.
Okay. Shush. In my case...
Yes?
When I usually play as Thief... By the way, Thief is best class, because you can do...
I'm finishing up that, adding in achievements. I'm going to go through and add some secret achievements.
Didn't you add some... Ooh. Secret achievements. So they won't, like, pop up unless you...
meet whatever the goal is.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
What if I don't know what to do?
You got to play around. The game encourages, experimentation. So you can choose to approach puzzles any way that you choose. In some cases, there are multiple solutions. In some cases, there's only one. And usually that's limited by character class, if there's only one. But in some cases, just generally, there's only one solution. And part of that is...
Didn't you finish...
Because I'm doing this all by myself. But I've also been working on something else. And you've had the opportunity to... It is a secret. You've had the opportunity to test drive it.
Yes, it is very fun. They made a custom it's for the P3, so they made a custom, like, module, like I don't know what it's called, like the little playfield, but like it's the part that you can take out.
It's a playfield module, yeah.
Yeah, playfield module. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I can learn things. Okay. But they made a custom one of those. That is really fun. But also, there's one thing on it that is so hard to get, and I cannot get it.
Yeah.
Ever. So hard.
So, look forward to hearing more details about that in the future.
It's a secret.
But it is a secret for now. Hopefully, I'll have something to share relatively soon. I'm going to finish up this kind of behind-the-scenes work on Quest for Glory, and then we'll start the long and laborious process of
the
bug
secret.
testing. No, a bug testing
Oh.
Quest for Glory.
I just want to say secret.
With all the different combinations and things. And I posted a photo to Instagram today showing some of the options that you have in combat. Mm-hmm. And depending on your character class, these different buttons do different things.
Also, his programming is the most complicated thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, if you make a single typo, it'll mess up the whole thing forever. I'm just kidding, not forever. Unless you don't find it, then forever.
You've done a little programming here recently, too.
Yes. He actually taught me some programming on the VIC-20. Most of you probably won't know what that is. It is a very old game console where it's...
a computer. It's a home computer.
Yes, but it's also a game console.
Yes.
Because it is basically an old keyboard that it's one of the, like, really clunky, like...
Clunky?
Not clunky,
Perfect?
but...
Wonderful?
but noisy.
Mechanical?
Yes, mechanical keyboards, and what you do is you have a big cartridge and you plug it into the keyboard, and then you can play that game by typing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can say, walk to the right, or talk to the dragon, or fight the knight.
Yeah. Text adventure games.
Yes.
But you did some actual basic programming.
Yes, you can do programming on the VIC-20.
Mm-hmm. So,
there was really one really cool thing where if you type a word and then you say, what was the thing that it made it go like diagonally?
Yeah, it's just changing the way that it outputs.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, also I know how to make a heart in it too.
Yes,
it's really cool.
A very important skill.
It is.
So,
Otherwise, you won't be able to say, I love you without a heart.
It's true. I'm looking forward to teaching you what I know, and then retiring, and then you can
retire.
finish all my projects.
Okay, I'll just go to work for you. Wear a tie, wear some fancy shoes, bike.
So
I'm there.
all right. Well,
dropping out of middle school.
I think this was a good conversation here, Ava.
Yes.
Thanks for joining me as always.
Mm-hmm.
And
co-host.
Next time, Madam Co-host, we shall discuss more P3 stuff.
And hopefully by then, Quest for Glory will be completely done.
Yeah. And
I mean, although you're probably never going to stop working on it. But
never.
Just don't mess it up again.
What? If you'd like to get in touch, you can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter @Bingo Podcast.
Anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
On Instagram @Bingo Podcast. Or you can listen to us on the website, which is...
For amusement only, bingo, almost.
foramusementonly.libsyn.com.
Oh, dang it. That was so easy.
Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.
Bye!